Welcome back, deep thinkers. It's great to see your continuous quest for knowledge. Together we will dive deep into understanding the human mind. Let's move forward and unravel the often misunderstood psychological condition, borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder, or BPD, is a complex mental health condition that affects about 1.6% of the population. Often misunderstood and stigmatized, BPD is characterized by intense emotional instability, impulsive behavior, and a fear of abandonment, among other symptoms. It's vital to understand this disorder not just for those experiencing it, but for everyone around them. Knowledge can lead to empathy, acceptance, and ultimately, help. So, what are the signs that you're dealing with borderline personality disorder? The first sign is emotional instability. This isn't your everyday mood swing. It's like a seismic shift in feelings, where the emotional ground beneath you trembles and quakes without warning. It could be a surge of anger, a torrent of sadness, or an unexpected wave of euphoria. It's a whirlwind of emotions that can be as unpredictable as they are intense. Imagine being in a room that's constantly changing colors, where one moment, it's bathed in the warm hues of happiness, and the next, it's shrouded in the cold blues of despair. That's what emotional instability can feel like. It's a constant shifting landscape of emotions, where the terrain is as volatile as it is varied. It's important to remember that this instability isn't a choice. It's a symptom of a deeper issue, a sign of the storm that is borderline personality disorder. Emotional instability can be a roller coaster for those dealing with BPD, and it's the first sign to look out for. Impulsive behavior is our second sign. It's a hallmark of borderline personality disorder, often manifesting as spontaneous, rash actions that may seem out of character to those who know the individual well. Imagine someone who on a whim might decide to go on a shopping spree, despite not having the financial means to do so. Or perhaps, they might suddenly terminate a long-standing relationship without any apparent reason or forethought. These impulsive actions are not merely thoughtless choices, rather they are symptomatic of a deeper issue. A person with BPD may struggle with controlling these impulses, leading to patterns of behavior that can be disruptive and potentially harmful. It's important to remember that these actions are not made with malicious intent, but are a result of the person's struggle to manage their emotions and impulses effectively. In essence, impulsive behavior can lead to risky decisions, and it's another key sign of BPD. Next, we have fear of abandonment and unstable relationships. These two symptoms of borderline personality disorder often walk hand in hand, each fueling the other in a cyclic dance of distress. Let's dive into the fear of abandonment first. This is not your typical worry of being left alone. It's an intense, often irrational fear that people they care about will leave them. Even the mere thought of separation or rejection can trigger intense feelings of anxiety and unsettlement. Imagine feeling a constant dread of being left alone, of being discarded. It's like being on a roller coaster of anxiety that keeps looping, with no end in sight. Now, how does this fear of abandonment translate into relationships? It creates a pattern of unstable relationships, a symptom commonly seen in individuals with borderline personality disorder. These individuals might fall in love quickly, idealizing their partners, only to devalue them when they fail to meet their high expectations. The fear of abandonment makes them hypersensitive to any signs of rejection or betrayal, causing them to react with anger and distress. It's a constant push and pull, a tug of war between wanting closeness and pushing others away in fear of getting hurt. The connection between these two symptoms is unmistakable. The fear of abandonment fuels the instability in relationships, while the unstable relationships, in turn, heighten the fear of abandonment. It's a vicious cycle that's hard to break, but understanding this connection is the first step towards managing these symptoms, towards breaking free from the chains of this disorder. These symptoms can be incredibly distressing for those dealing with BPD, often leading to a sense of isolation and despair. But remember, understanding is the first step towards healing. With the right support and treatment, it is possible to navigate through these challenges and lead a fulfilling life. Fear of abandonment and unstable relationships can cause significant distress to those dealing with BPD. But, with understanding, patience, and support, this distress can be managed, and the cycle of fear and instability can be broken. Signs 5 and 6 are an unclear self-image and self-destructive behavior. An unclear self-image, also known as identity disturbance, is a common symptom of borderline personality disorder. This means that an individual's perception of themselves can be distorted, inconsistent, or drastically change over time. It's like gazing into a funhouse mirror. where the reflection is always shifting and warping. One day they may perceive themselves as a loving, successful individual, and the next day, they may view themselves as a failure or a burden to others. This unclear self-image can lead to frequent changes in jobs, friendships, relationships, and even values or beliefs. It's like living a life on shifting sands, where the ground beneath your feet is constantly moving and you're struggling to find solid footing. Now let's turn our attention to self-destructive behavior. Sign number 6. Self-destructive behavior is a broad term, encompassing actions that harm an individual's health, relationships, or overall well-being. This can manifest in various ways, such as substance abuse, reckless driving, unsafe sex, or binge eating. For some, it may even escalate to self-harm or suicidal thoughts. Why does this happen? Well, it's a complex issue, but often these behaviors are an attempt to cope with intense emotional pain or feelings of emptiness. It's a cry for help, a desperate attempt to feel something other than the overwhelming negativity inside. What's important to note is how these two signs are often intertwined. An unclear self-image can lead to feelings of worthlessness or self-loathing, which in turn can fuel self-destructive behavior. It's a vicious cycle, a downward spiral that's difficult to break free from without professional help. If you or someone you know exhibits these signs, it's crucial to seek help from mental health professionals. Remember, there's no shame in admitting you're struggling. We all need a helping hand sometimes. A distorted self-image and self-destructive behavior are two more signs that you're dealing with BPD. Our final signs are feeling empty, difficulty in managing emotions, paranoia, and severe dissociative symptoms. Imagine a profound emptiness, a feeling so raw, it's as if you're a hollow shell. This is a common sentiment among those with borderline personality disorder, a chronic sense of emptiness that can be hard to shake. It's not simply feeling sad or alone, but a deep-rooted hollowness that may lead one to question their very existence. Now let's talk about managing emotions. We all experience mood swings from time to time, but for those with BPD, these swings can be intense and occur frequently. Unpredictable emotional shifts can range from extreme happiness to intense depression, often within a matter of hours. These emotional roller coasters can make it difficult to maintain relationships and function in everyday life. Paranoia is another sign, often triggered by stress or perceived rejection. Individuals may become suspicious of others' motives, believing that people are out to harm them. This intense fear can cause them to act in ways that seem irrational to others, further isolating them from their support systems. Lastly, we have dissociative symptoms. This is a disconnection from oneself, a feeling of being detached from your thoughts, feelings, or body. It's as if you're observing yourself from an outside perspective. Some describe it as watching their life unfold in a movie. This can be a frightening experience and can make it difficult for individuals to connect with reality. These final signs are perhaps the most distressing. The emptiness can be consuming, the emotional instability exhausting, paranoia can make the world seem hostile, and dissociation can make one feel lost within their own existence. While these symptoms may sound overwhelming, it's important to remember that help is available. Psychotherapy, medication, and support groups can provide much-needed relief. Recovery is not a straight line, and it's okay to ask for help along the way. These final signs can be extremely challenging to navigate for those dealing with BPD. But remember, understanding is the first step towards healing. Your engagement matters. By liking, commenting, and subscribing, you're helping to spread awareness about the intricacies of borderline personality disorder. This simple act can make a world of difference. Thank you, deep thinkers, for lending your time and your minds to this important discussion. Until next time, keep thinking deeply.